And we can get the party started, give everybody a couple minutes to get signed in. Tim, it's good to see you. It's been a while since we've had the pleasure of your company.
Yeah, I've had a lot going up there at the moment. You know what I mean?
There's no better place to forget about things than with a bunch of bubble heads.
Yeah.
I like that update thing you're doing there, Bob.
Yeah, it's I've been trying to think of a way to do it. So if some of you guys follow the forums at the Nautilus dry dock, there was a thread that I started. It was like yesterday's work, but it's actually a huge amount of work to, you know, go in the morning, go to the website, download pictures,
Muting me.
upload pictures.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, get your sound up.
We can hear you, Maury.
It's
Where?
this one right
Here?
Hold on.
But anyhow,
Sound through your headphones.
my website
Yeah.
has an app, and there you go. I'm just going to mute Maury because he's working through some issues, and I can through my phone make updates to my blog page, and so it becomes super quick and easy for me to, you know, just grab pictures and throw them in, and then I can actually just dictate, and it'll do voice to text, and yeah, make it super easy. So
Yeah,
There
with
you
that
go.
with that first update, I thought that Junkyard Nautilus was part of it.
well, you must have clicked on like an old blog article. That was yeah, like I said, that was
A couple of years ago, you said.
yeah.
Oh, I would have loved to make a mold over that.
It was an interesting boat. If you
No
guys,
charge. It's when you turn it on. It's gone.
if you don't know
Headphones are-
what we're talking about,
I'm
that
not
was,
getting anything now.
we can hear you, Maury. Can you hear us? I'm gonna mute him again. He's working through issues. But anyhow, up in Canada, a gentleman went to the dump and he found a huge 7-foot long Disney Nautilus model sitting in the garbage, and so he grabbed it, and I bought it off of him and gave it to my dad, who's also up in Edmonton, Alberta. And my dad built a huge box for it and mailed it down to me. So that was an interesting odyssey. So I had a super.
You're at full volume, but it's going through the headphones.
No, it's not.
That's what it thinks it's doing.
You got to wait for us to talk, Maury, before you tell us you can't hear us. Testing. Nope. Okay, hold on a second here. I gotta like chat with Maury or something. All right, there we go. Oh, he's gone. He must have quit. All right. Anyhow, I had a super eventful day yesterday. So if you looked at my blog update, you'll have seen I had a beautiful 72nd scale US Gato class submarine. And we brought it to the pond yesterday to try it out. And when it was coming around its first lap at periscope depth, it snagged something and went straight down to the bottom. Yeah, so nothing I could do to bring it back. And so as luck would have it, I was just finishing up adding pictures to the salvage chapter of my book. And this is practical application of finding a lost boat. Now, what I found out, I don't know if you guys have seen like all my videos of trying out, boats. And so that's that little pond. behind our community there. And, you know, it's probably only 100 feet wide or something like that. But what we found out is if you walk out, say 20 feet from shore, the water is 15 feet deep. And the bottom is about 18 inches of mush, like absolute black mush. So we tried for about an hour and a half. And the frustrating thing is for the first 45 minutes when I was swimming out, I could hear the motors going. They were stuck in like a forward position. I could hear the little thunk, 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 thunk of the props spinning. And after 45 minutes, apparently the batteries gave up and we lost it. So we've got a rough approximation of where the boat is, but it's been sitting at the bottom of the pond since yesterday at 2:30 p.m. We got diver hopefully coming tomorrow to continue recovery efforts, but unfortunately at 12 to 15 feet of depth in murky water, that's beyond my swimming skill set.
Which boat is this?
This is a 72nd scale Gato.
Ah, bummer.
Yeah, I'm like Andre the Giant from Princess Bride. I only dog paddle. I sink really well, but I don't float so often. So it was a second workout for me yesterday. That was a lot of work, but.
What about that sub you have that you had at Groton with the camera and everything? You couldn't say.
I sold that a long time ago. That would have been great to use.
Yeah. Put a little hook on it or something and kind of like drag the thing out or something, break it loose.
At the very least, find it.
Yeah.
I know probably within like a 15 or 20 foot radius of where it is, but it's just so black and murky. Like when I swam down, I could see my hand, in front of me. And you stick your hand down and it goes through the mush and it just keeps on going all the way down.
Yeah.
So that was my exciting endeavor, and I'll have an update, on Monday in terms of what the outcome of our recovery efforts are.
While it's light over there, I have a question for you. How serious is waterproofing your connections that get wet, like the positive lead to the battery and the servo connections and stuff like that? How important is that?
So what you're going to find is, so water in and of itself is an excellent insulator. Pure fresh water is an excellent insulator.
Right.
As soon as you introduce contaminants to the water, such as minerals, chemicals, or biological contaminants, the water becomes conductive. It starts to become conductive. Now, you can run it, no problem. You can run it in heavily chlorinated pool, no problem. But what you're going to find is on any terminal that carries positive DC power, you're going to start getting a green corrosion that starts building up in there. So over time, that's obviously an oxidization of that lead. Over time, that's going to corrode away and it'll ultimately fail eventually. So if you're talking about a big, thick, beefy connection, like a Dean's connector, you're probably fine just running it wet. And between runs, just scrub it with a little bit of a steel brush and redo the connection. A little dab of grease, and you'd be fine. But if it's a fine connection, like an LED light, those little tiny legs coming off an LED, those, over time can absolutely corrode to the point where the LED will fail. So.
And the servos?
Like a servo lead, like a servo connection.
Yeah, yeah.
I would watch those too, because if you take a close look at those little pins, they're probably like 1/64th, of an inch thick metal that's folded over in a U shape. So the cross section is super, super thin on those, and those ultimately will probably end up failing on you as well.
So if you paint it with one of those potting materials, the flexible epoxy, which you can pull apart, as
Mhm.
long as coated, it should be fine.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing that I would caution you against is with those painted on coatings, is if you don't get it 100% over everything, water can get under it and it'll actually get trapped. And then even when you take your boat out, that water is in there, just sitting there and corroding things. So just be super careful if you do that, that it's a very, very thorough application that goes, you know, all the way up the wire and all the way down the wire.
Yeah, I'm going to try and engineer some kind of snap-on device for the I only have a few servo connections that are getting wet, and I'm going to try and do something that I can cast and then just snap it around it and do that.
Non-conductive grease goes a long way too. You know, you would probably be fine for the most part with that. Get a little messy.
Yeah,
But, that would
I
be
know.
something you could think
I
about.
know, like sprinklers, they have this thing, and I want to do something like it, but not as big. It's a little test tube, and then they have dielectric grease inside of it. So when you make a connection for your lawn sprinklers, they make it inside that. They slip this over. It's filled with grease, and they're perfect.
Yeah, yep. There you go. The other thing that people have done, and I've yet to do it, they've potted a connection in wax. You know, just like candle wax. So, you know, you can make a little container, put the connection in, pour wax over it, let it solidify, and then pull it out. And you got this like little wax cocoon around it. And then if you ever need to get back at it, you just melt it.
Oh, that's
and, and
that's
you got, yeah. People have potted, you know, full electric boards. And one guy even tried potting a receiver and it worked. So again, the cool thing about it is you can warm it up and then all of that wax will come out at fairly low temperature.
Yeah, I think on one of your blogs or whatever you call them, that one of your little things that somebody used the toilet bowl wax to seal something off. You know, that soft beeswax.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And apparently it worked really well.
That, boy, I think that'd be worse than grease for messy, but
I have used liquid tape with a good success.
yeah, and I've used that too. Yeah, that works really good. So yeah, there you go. You know, electrical connections are typically fine in the wet, but if you're looking for longevity and especially for thin connections, you're gonna want to make sure you're waterproof.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because
Go ahead. Bob, I had a question for you.
Sure.
This is related to, I'm printing the Hydra sub right now.
Yep.
And I'm looking, I just need to ask a question. If you're going to motorize these pods, would the propeller, I mean, would it be inside the pod or would I have to put it on the outside?
I would put it inside only for aesthetics. What you really got to watch is flow to the prop. So the thing about it here, let me doodle here. High tech.
I know this is, well, hopefully it'll semi-submerge and possibly even be a dynamic diver. So I guess I can call it a sub.
And that's fine. And actually that design of that particular boat, you'd be perfectly fine doing that. I think it'd be fine. So I'm gonna see if this, oh, of course. Oh, whoa, damn it. Okay. I gotta turn off my virtual background. Hold on. Oh man. No, I don't even know how to do this now, how to turn it off. Okay, anyhow, what you gotta watch is the brushless motor is going to be in the front of your pot, right? You need to make sure you've got sufficient flow of water to get past the motor and through the propeller. So you'll be surprised, even the smaller brushless motors are going to pull quite a bit of water. And I've actually got some little red, I think they're 1100 kilovolt brushless motors that would be a nice size. If you're having a hard time finding them, let me know and I can hook you up with them. But they're probably like 1.25 inch in diameter, maybe. Yeah, 1.25 inch in diameter. And that would allow quite a bit. Now, if your motor is going to block the intake, what you could probably do is drill a bunch of slots all around the perimeter of the motor pod that'll allow the water to flow in to the area right in front of the prop and then get blown out the back.
Okay, now, you know, with this came with the prop inside the cowling part of the deal. Would you eliminate that thing completely?
Yep.
Just take it right out then, so you got free flow of water throughout.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Make that pod completely hollow. Yep.
All right, that's what we'll do. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, that hydro sub is going to be really really cool. Let me know if you get any help with that. I never got around to trying to RC it myself, but it should make for a really cool boat.
Yeah, you can't get out more than what you can get in.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Nope, Steve, you're talking, but you're muted, bud.
Any new projects on the 3D horizon?
Yes, Ohio is still progressing. What I'm finding, the files that I have are so high resolution. My CAD program is crashing every time I try and manipulate them. So it's a slow process. So Ohio is coming, but what I'm actually going to be releasing here probably very shortly, and you're going to start seeing in my blog updates on this. Tons of people have been asking me about Alvin. The research submersible, and Randy Sanders up in Canada just sent me the files for his rendition, and so I'm actually combining his hull with all of the 3D parts that I generated for that build that I did. If you guys have seen the video of the big FX models, so all the arms and the lights and the brackets and all of that, those are going to go on the front of that. Like Alvin is such a cool boat, and if you're looking for something to tool around in your pool, this thing will do circles in its own body length, because the entire prop and rudder arrangement is canted, so it'll literally spin around in its own body length without the need for you know, thrusters or anything like that. So
Who made that? Who made that kit?
What's that, Tim?
Who made that kit? Who made the hull?
The original one was actually put out by Mark D'Antonio of FX Models, and he got the molds from another gentleman who actually emailed me. I'd have to go into my email and look it up, but he did the original hull, and then he sold the molds to Mark, and then Mark sold it as a kit. But he's not doing it anymore. So there are no kits out there for Alvin right now that I'm aware of.
Such cool stuff.
It is, and this is I think it was like the 1970s era with the big prop on the back. It's sort of like the quintessential Alvin that everybody thinks about when they see it. It's got the big manipulator arm bolted to the front of it, you know, and then the big cargo box, mesh cargo box in the front to put samples in. It's really, really cool.
Oh, just the challenge of making those arms work. Ooh.
Well, if you wanted to go crazy, you certainly could, but I don't know if I would be up for that. You need a whole separate remote control just to work the arms.
Oh, right up my alley.
What kind of subdriver would be in that, Bob?
So there would be no standardized subdriver that would fit it, because you're talking about a short, pudgy, fat, you know, basically football that you would need to RC. If you want to see how I solved that issue, you can take a look at the video that I have on YouTube. And that was like I took a sub driver and basically cut it in half, and then like stacked the two parts on top. So there was an electronics module on the bottom and a ballast tank on the top. But what I would do now is just use one of the little waterproof boxes, those like S2500 waterproof boxes, drop it in there, and man, that would work super, super slick. What I'm experimenting with, by the way, and I think this is going to work great for smaller boats, is using electrical utility boxes as waterproof containers for subs. So you know the outdoor junction boxes, they've got like a gray PVC body with a clear Lexan cover, and they've got rubber seals around the outside and 4 stainless bolts. They're pre-made, perfect sized little electronic boxes to house electronics in. So if you're looking to put a small remote electronic module, or remotely mount servos, or if you got a small boat and you want to put the battery, receiver, and speed controller in that little box, I think that would work good. We're going to be using that for Logan's Millennium Falcon. That's going to house the 1500 milliamp LiPo battery, the receiver, the 2 speed controllers, and a voltage regulator inside that little electrical utility box.
How do you find drilling them? Because when I tried that, it just shattered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it basically, I don't know what kind of plastic it is, but as soon as I started drilling it, it started to go in. As soon as it was in within like a millimeter, it just caught and shattered.
The main body or the lid?
No, the main body.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if they're probably different over your side of the pond, but the ones over here, a few of us have tried.
I would be super surprised if they had it built out of a fragile plastic like that, because when you're screwing it into like a stud, if there's like a little knot or something and it twists, you'd think someone would get grumpy if the whole thing split in half or something like that. I think it would more likely twist. But,
yeah, no, I was just really shocked when I drilled it. Like if you it didn't crack the whole case, but when you got the hole, you could see the hole had basically fractured with stress.
Tim, you got to use plastic drill bits.
Probably do either.
I've used them before. I've never had problem with drilling.
Yeah, you just got to
Great
dull the middle.
PVC.
okay. Yeah, you're right. PVC. That's right. That's what they're made of.
Great PVC boxes I've used before. I've never had a problem with standard drill bits. The ones you get at Home Depot and stuff.
Yep.
Never had. And it takes, well, what's nice about it is you could connect them together with standard PVC piping and PVC glue. So if you need to gang the boxes up, it works well. Parts at Home Depot.
Yeah, actually, when you think about that, you could create a quasi subdriver using that PVC piping, because typically they'll have like a pre-made opening to run the conduit in. But you could have a forward battery compartment, a rear electronics compartment connected by PVC conduit, and then you could put, for example, a rubber bladder in the middle, filled with air, and pump the air into the sealed containers and then back out again for ballast. Ed, where's your video? I miss your smiling face, bud. Oh, there he is. He's playing video games. That's what he's doing.
I was going to say, speak for yourself. Yeah, some plastics are fussy, and I resharpen my bits so that they don't grab and pull through. And it also works a lot. That same sharpening also works great in brass. Sometimes when you drill brass, the drill bit grabs and pulls itself through. Well, it won't do it if you sharpen it that way, the way that they sharpen plastic bits for.
I've got to admit, now I've got my CNC machine. When I've been milling it, I just mill them out now. I found that handy.
There you go. And Steve, I'm just circling back because I got distracted, but right after Alvin is going to be Japanese midget submarine. That's another one that Randy shared with me. Super cool boat. If any of you been to Groton, they've got one of them sitting outside there, that big black boat with the twin torpedo tubes in the front of it. Really neat boat.
There had been mention of a skipjack at one point in time too. Any further news on that?
I've got the skipjack files, and honestly, that's close to release too. I just haven't had a chance to finish 3D printing my poor printers, man. They're just, you know, I got like 5 of them, and they're constantly going, trying to keep up with all of these projects that we've got going. But yes, I've got skipjack files. The only thing about skipjack is that, you know, with the Rebel kit out right now, you know, it's not fulfilling a need in the market unless somebody wants to print in a different scale. You know, the 3D files are really kind of out there for someone to get into the hobby in a pretty cost-effective manner. And with that plastic kit by Bronco, or sorry, Rebel out, you know, you can't beat the quality and the detail and everything of that kit with a 3D.
Just not big enough.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you could certainly scale it up and make yourself a nice 48 or 32nd scale skipjack.
I'm right now printing for Daryl a 1/6 scale Seahund.
1/6?
1/6.
That's got to be like this big around.
It'll be a beast. 78 inches long, and it's going to be a monster. But that's what he wants. So I got my second printer up online at Ender 5 Plus, and now it's working and printing that hull out. So,
Steve, you're using the Ender 5 to build these full-scale subs?
my Columbia I did on my Ender 3. I just got the Ender 5 Plus up online, and now I can print bigger stuff. So I'm doing the Seahund first on it.
That's going to be a cool project. That is going to be a super cool project.
Yeah.
I am on Monday beginning, by the way. Well, I on my blog, you saw that the layup of a 30th scale 212. That's going to be a really cool boat as well. So that's going to have probably, you know, a 12 or 14-inch diameter cross section. And what I love about that particular boat is it's pretty stumpy. You know, it's not super long, you know, like an LA or an Ohio, but it's also got the X-tail rudder configuration. And so I read a thesis actually looking at the mechanical advantage of X-tail rudders versus cruciform rudders. And it was actually found that X-tail rudder configuration is 1.42 times as effective as a standard cruciform rudder and dive plane arrangement. So the good news obviously is in a boat that big, you know, you should be able to maneuver it around even in really small ponds really, really easily. So, you know, sometimes those big boats get a little ungainly, you know, particularly modern boats when you've got small control surfaces turning big models with them situated far ahead of the prop, can make it hard to turn them about. So hopefully that will not be the case with this this particular boat.
What about the 196 Sturgeons?
So that is a project that David Merriman has taken under his wing. So originally it was mastered by Thor. Thor sold it to, I think, sold it to Caswell, and then Caswell, I ended up with, when I bought out Caswell, I ended up with all of that tooling. So what Dave is basically doing is he's completely remastering the entire boat. This is going to be sort of his, like, what do you call it? His Sistine Chapel of work. So, you know, he spent literally months etching and scribing and rebuilding every little detail of the sturgeon for the new boat. Some of you, most of you know, he's basically in retirement mode right now, and he's going through some very extreme personal issues right now. But he's actually just sent me an email this morning saying that basically June 1st-ish, he's going to get back on the saddle and finish sturgeon up. So that's his first order of business. And once that's done, all the tooling comes back here and straight into production. So hopefully late summer-ish is.
What about sub drivers?
So
On those.
yeah, so the new sub drivers are actually coming along, fairly well. I'm hoping to open those up for orders within the next 30 to 40 days ish. And then after that is straight to the 2.5s. Between the 2.5s and the 3-inch sub drivers, that'll cover 95% of the models that are out on the market right now. Super small boats, I like a 2-inch cylinder, I don't know if I'm gonna mess around with. And then the really, really big boats, I don't know that I will, because then you start evolving towards that what I recommended was the use of watertight boxes. I think it's just way more flexible and cost effective to use boxes in those particular cases. So
Bob, what do you hear from Matthew Beck on his cylinders?
So I know Tim is aware of this situation. So the actual cylinders themselves, if I understand things correctly, are all squared up and basically the design's locked in, it's ready to go. The only thing that got threw a monkey wrench into the whole situation is one of the pieces of electronics that basically command the core functions of the ballast system had some challenges on the bench, and so those are just getting tweaked right now. And then once those are all finished, the new batch will come out and those will all be ready to go again as well. I don't know.
Very good. Very good.
Tim, did you have anything to add to that? Was that basically right?
Yeah, sort of. I need to speak to Matt and find out what he's doing.
Yeah, he hasn't been on the last couple of meetings.
Yeah, I need to speak to find out how he's getting on.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question about the ESC, the B3 Heli 32, and I was wondering. So here's my motor, right, and it has these leads, red, black, yellow, and I was wondering, how do I ensure that when I solder the wires on that that they actually match? You know what I mean?
So you hold one end in your mouth and you take the other one and you connect it to 12-volt power. No, I'm just kidding with you. So your motor has 3 leads, right? It has a left, a center, and a right.
Yes.
The only thing the outer 2 wires do is control the rotation of the motor. So if you start with the center one, the center of your motor goes to the center of the speed controller. All right.
Okay.
And then it doesn't make any difference if you connect the red wire to the left or the red wire to the right. The only thing that it'll do is when you hit forward on your transmitter, it'll spin either left or right.
Right. But then I can reverse that in the remote.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can just switch it around there, or obviously switch the wires if you wanted to. But that's for brushless motors. 3 wires. Center is common. And then the left and right are basically simply what controls the rotation of the motor. Doesn't make any difference.
Okay, black in the middle and doesn't matter the other way. Okay, cool.
Why not just solder on some pigtails with opposing bullet connectors on it? And then solder some pigtails onto the ESC with bullet connectors, the mating bullet connector, and then you just plug them together. So what?
Yep. Well, I mean, provided you don't do like the middle to the outside and then try and run power through and get a smoke show or something like that, right? But yeah, what you said is absolutely right, Steve. And for Michael, you might want to do that. It's just little 2-inch wire pigtails with a bullet connector that plugs in to the motor. Some of the motors come with bullet connectors and some of them don't. It really depends. The new line of sub drivers, the 3-inch sub drivers, are actually going to come configured in a manner because the brushless motors are run in the wet. So they will simply bolt on the outside of the watertight cylinder, and then you plug the bullet connectors into the receptacles in the end cap. So if you ever want to swap your motor out or do whatever, it's just a simple matter of clip, 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 and 2 bolts, and out it comes.
Can all brushless motors run in the wet?
Yeah.
Or just some.
So I've been doing a bunch of research. They use brushless motors in ROVs a lot because they can be run in the wet. Now the super high end brushless motors are they're oil pressure compensated, so they're basically in like inside them is oil, so that there's no salt water that gets in them.
Right.
But
Okay.
The general consensus is that even in salt water with proper maintenance, there should be no issue running brushless motors because there's no actual physical connection between the stator and the other part, whatever I'm drawing a blank.
Rotor. I think that makes sense.
The only thing I would add is you said that you're going to reverse your channel on your transmitter to make it go the way. Don't change the cables, because if that speed controller is 60/40, you'll lose a lot of power.
Say that again, Tim?
Okay.
Most speed controllers are 60/40. If you just reverse a channel on your transmitter, if it's going the wrong way, you're going to be running the ESC in reverse, not in forward. So you'll lose 20% of the speed controller.
So
Catawba needs to be. Catawba is the only one that is in reverse is forward. All the other manufacturers, forward is normal, because Catawba used to be different.
So I'm pretty sure with the BL Heli, because I have to manually program each and every one of them before I send them out. I have to automatically select the configuration of it before I hit program. So it is actually a 50/50.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but good. That's a great point. So and I didn't actually know that most BECs for brushless motors have a 60% forward and a 40% aft. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's the same on speed controllers as well, because you don't need full power going backwards. You want more control going forward. And the amount of times people would do that and go, well, my boat's not going very fast. It's like, yeah.
That's super interesting.
But the BL Heli 32 is good, 50/50.
Yes. Yep. And for anybody that owns one, if you want to, you can download the app, and it's called like BL Heli Suite 32. And all you do is you plug the ESC into this dongle that you have to buy off Amazon. And
you plug this in?
Yep. You give it power, you plug it in, and there's about like 20 different settings that you can goof around with, including the startup sound. When you plug it in, it goes do 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 do. You could have it play like Super Mario Brothers or the theme from Leagues Under the Sea, whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna have to do that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, if you wanna mess with it, there's a lot of settings that could be configured for your individual style of operation. So
that might be cool.
As it comes out of the box, it's very like beige, is just generic forward and reverse, but there's a million things that you can do with it.
Got it. And then I had another question about my battery. I have this
insert a quarter.
I have this battery.
Okay.
It's a 2 milliamp it's a 2 milliamp 12 volt.
2 milliamp, that's pretty small. That must be
it is
2 amp.
So 2 amp hours, 12 volt. I was wondering, is that too small? And I mean, my submarine's not that small. I can get a bigger one.
For which boat is this again?
It's a Virginia 1/90th scale.
1/90th?
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll be lots. I run a 1500 LiPo in that Gato, and that gives me 45 minutes of runtime at normal. That looks like a nickel metal hydride battery.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 50 inches long.
The thing about battery technology, they all output the same voltage, and they've got the capacity rating. The only real difference is the package they come in. So, like a 2 amp sealed lead acid battery might be like this. Your nickel metal hydride battery might be like that, but a LiPo might be like that. So it's all about energy density, and that's why people like LiPos, because they're more energy dense than some of the other battery technologies. As temperamental as they may be.
This one's going to be in the wet. This battery.
Yeah. So
I have some waterproof connectors, but I need to waterproof it, and I was thinking it has like a shrink wrap around it, and I was thinking about just getting some epoxy. You know what I mean? And just kind of like putting it in the parts where the shrink wrap doesn't cover, and just shooting it in there.
I have had great luck. So what I typically do, and again, this is in my book, and I keep promising it'll come out.
Yeah.
So you got your battery. What I do is I cut out a plastic sheet, a plastic like end cap that is the same size as the battery end. So I put one on each side of the battery with a little notch for the wires. And then I heat shrink everything on top of that. And then I seal the heat shrink to that end cap with either RTV or resin, like what you had talked about. The good thing about RTV is you can cut it loose and cut everything off with, less fuss than if you used resin, which flowed in and fused to the battery, and then you're basically committed. If it leaks, you're done, right? And the other thing that I'll mention is absolutely use clear heat shrink tubing, because you'll see if there's a leak, you'll see the condensation form inside the heat shrink. You know you got a leak. If you make it solid, it's like, well, it was working fine until it wasn't working, and then you pull the battery out and it's like full of water, and it has been for a month.
I see. Okay. It already has like a heat shrink on it,
which is
the whole thing.
And I've done it that way, and it's worked perfectly fine. And so you got to, again, you just got to make sure that you seal the opening. So RTV or whatever. The only thing I don't like about those stock factory heat shrink is they're taper thin. So if you bump it on something or drop a screwdriver next to it, it can puncture the heat shrink, and you might not be able to tell. So that's why I like the idea of a second layer of clear heat shrink, so that you can see if any water gets in.
Okay, and they make a bunch of different shapes of clear heat shrink, I assume.
Yep.
Okay, I'll look around for that then. Thanks.
Yep, absolutely. That's one reason I like the nickel metal hydride battery, because you can run them in the wet. You don't need to worry about them, and then depending on how you build the battery pack, they're super flexible in terms of if some of you might remember when Dave was in here, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 DiveTribes ago, he talked about he actually ran some lithium polymer batteries in the wet, that's pretty ballsy. Again, you drop a screwdriver or something on the end of it, and if there's a little hole and it hits some water, you'll have an exciting smoke show going on.
Bob, can I throw out one more question on this HydroSub? If you've got 2 motors, one on either side, you're going to bring them together. I'm assuming that you're able to take your transmitter left and right. That'll get the right and left turn, and back and forward on the same stick with the proper wiring.
What I would, let's see, so it's kind of the same. There's a couple of different ways of doing this. I mentioned on the forums, there's a product that I carry that's put out by Kevin McLeod called a throttle jockey. And what that does is it artificially mixes your throttle channel and your rudder channel with output to 2 motors. So this is for boats such as, say, like Typhoon or Oscar or HydroSub in that particular case. So when you would, all your throttle would be on, say, let's for example say the left stick. Right stick could be rudder. So if you hit hard over on your rudder and then forward on your throttle, it'll be full forward on the left motor and full reverse on the right motor, and it'll pull the boat around, you know, using the motors. Now, I don't think you actually need to do that because you got lots of channels on your radio. I might think about simply setting it up so that your throttles were your horizontal sticks. So forward on both could be in, reverse on both could be out, and then that'll give you your steering, and then you can use your forward and back for your dive planes. So, you know, you got forward, back, left, and right, and it would basically, especially because you're making a dynamic diver, you don't even need a ballast channel. So really, you're only using 3 channels of possibly 6 that you might have on a Vex, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would put your left motor on channel 4, and I would put your right motor on channel 1. And that would be forward, back, and then you have your dive planes would be probably channel 2 on your right stick, forward and back.
Okay, sounds good.
That's how I'm going to configure the Millennium Falcon when we finish that up, because we're going to be doing not only differential thrust for yaw control, but we're going to have pitch control, and it'll be individual pitch control. So it'll actually do barrel rolls. We'll be able to spin the boat about its center axis as it moves forward.
Okay, well, this will be an interesting project, but I think that's going to be the way it'll be done. So that way I can get better turning, because the little rudders on that hydro boat don't seem like they're going to give it much maneuverability. So, well, I think the good idea.
In the original intent was to, if I were to redo it now, I would set it up for the dual motor pods, you know, in the actual 3D files. But the original intent was to have one central motor that blew out the back, and that was right by the rudders, and so it would actually give you fairly decent steering.
Yeah, with the brushless motors now, you know, that's the way to go. I think it'd be done fairly easy. Just have to modify the inside a bit. And honestly, Rob, you know, something like that project that you got is the perfect candidate for a little utility box in the middle. The only thing you put in there is the battery, the speed controller, the 2 speed controllers, and the voltage regulator and your receiver. And then you have 2 waterproof servos, or one waterproof servo just for the rudder. It runs on the outside. You can mount it nice and close for the dive planes, and that's it. You're done. No need for a ballast system. No need for a cylinder. No need for anything like that. Okay, thank you for the info.
Yeah. Got you just signed in. I can see that you've got the very rare Type 22 submarine set as your name, which I'm completely unfamiliar with. I have no idea if they even made a Type 22.
Bob, that 30-second Type 7 that I bought, does Matt make that?
No, OTW out of the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Bob Dimac. That's absolute. I mean, Matt makes beautiful products, but OTW makes beautiful products too. They've been doing this now for decades, and you're going to get that thing, and your jaw's going to drop when you see all the detail in that hull, all the rivets and panel lines and brass photo etch and all that fun stuff.
I can't wait.
It's coming. This whole COVID situation is just like ridiculous. Resin prices have almost doubled. My wife is in the industry for installation of like gas, water, sewer, fiber optics, and that kind of thing. All of the contractors that she services are saying that the product pricing for PVC or plastic piping is doubled because of what's going on right now.
Oh, wood.
Shipping times, yeah, exactly. Residential wood prices have doubled.
It's amazing.
Windows went from, what was it, 2-week lead time to like 8-week or 10-week lead times. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, resin prices have jumped 4 times this year. It's, yeah, I think I was paying £58 for 25 kilos last year. It's now 110.
Steel is 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is a crazy, crazy time that we're living in right now. Hopefully things will, settle down. But the thing that kind of makes me grumpy is that, I think there's a lot of companies out there using COVID as an excuse to bump prices up, which is terrible too. But it's just, what do you do, right? It's not like I can make my own resin, so. Or silicone rubber.
At £360 for 25 kilos for RTV. I know the pain.
It is expensive. I don't know if you guys understand it, but like I just had to buy 5 gallons of silicone rubber to cast. Actually, new product coming out. The Darren Hathaway, sorry. I bought from him his product, which is a sealed delivery vehicle. So we are molding and casting that. That's going to be super cool. It's going to be like yay long. And again, swimming pool. If you guys have pools, you're just looking for something you can drop in the pool and just have a ton of fun with. That's going to be a super project. But back to that, I need to get another 5 gallons of silicone rubber, and it's like $700 US for a 5-gallon bucket of rubber.
Bob, are you getting a thickening agent for it?
No, this is just the normal BJB silicone rubber.
All right, well, if you're making new molds, just quickly look into getting yourself some thickening agent. You only want to put 3 drops of the stuff in, and it will thicken it up to about, you can easily put 1 inch of rubber on there, and you've only used maybe 5 kilos.
This is a little bit different because it's so small. I'm actually going to be using like an enclosure, so it'll pour liquid, okay, and then it'll be a block mold as opposed to a glove mold. Yeah, I can tell you're used to working on big boats. This is just a little tiny boat, this big.
Well, it's like doing Stingray's top. I've been sitting there working out how to do that, and I think I'm going to do it the same way as I do the rest of the submarine. So just obviously paint the rubber on in a thickening agent, and then make a fiberglass trough over the top, because it's that big. It's huge. I think it takes up about 40% of the boat, the top.
I've got like 4 of those sold. Hurry up.
Oh, all right. They'll be out. Hopefully, I should have the first ones molded, not next week because it's Lauren's 30th, so the week after. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly.
All right. I trust you. You wouldn't pull one over on me.
I wouldn't trust me.
I got a quick question. I'm doing the skipjack from the Scale Shipyards, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the shaft mounting blocks to hold the propeller in the back. The only way to do that is just sort of get a laser and try to put something in there and try to make sure that when you try to glue that in there or whatever, because there's no mounting like in the Mobius to get these, put in there, you just sort of, I guess, glue them in. That's the only way I know to do it in the Scale Shipyard, because it's just a fiberglass hull back there.
So what I would do for that is, obviously drill your prop shaft hole in the back of the fiberglass hull, and then put your bearing mount, which I'm assuming that is a bearing mount, right?
Yeah.
I would put the bearing in there, and then actually run your shaft through it, and then when you adhere it to the fiberglass hull, just ensure that the shaft is aligned to the longitudinal axis of your boat, and you can do that from outside the boat, so that you don't need to guess or use a laser or whatever. So just run that shaft, so that only 1 inch of it is inside that bushing, and the rest of it is outside. And then you can align that to the center axis of your boat, let it cure, pull the shaft out, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I happen to have a straight laser, so I just figured that might help. But I'm just sort of afraid to go ahead and start gluing it in there. Just get it cockeyed and you're screwed.
Well, the good news is, honestly, depending on how you're going to set up your drivetrain, even if that prop is off by 2 or 3 degrees, you would have to, use calipers to know that. What would be even more conducive to a perfect installation would be to inside the boat run your secondary support bearing. So you've got your rear bearing, right, where the prop is, and then run the forward bearing exactly in the middle of the boat. And then all you do is run your shaft through it and then glue your little support into the back there. And then it's perfectly aligned and you don't need to worry about it. So start with your forward support for that shaft. Make sure that that's centered left, right, up, down, bearing or bushing in the center. Slip the shaft through with that rear support in there and glue it down, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and it looks like I can probably just glue the bottom half down, and it's got pins. I could put pins in it and put the upper one in, so that I got a little bit I could shim with.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Bob, see this is the Type 22.
Oh.
It was only a design.
So it was never actually turned into a
that's a pity. Boat. But do you see the comparison to the 23 type?
Oh, so it's a little bit shorter.
Yes, and there are different types of conning towers and aft sections.
Interesting.
And I start to redraw her.
Wow.
There was only one section here. So I lost interest on one point. So the nice thing is the torpedo tubes are really come out of the pressure hull. Yes, this is a nice boat, maybe.
The good news is nobody could ever tell you that you did it wrong.
Yes, that's
because
the
nobody
point.
would ever know. Very cool. Well, we're at 4 o'clock, which is my typical sign off time. I'll give you guys one more chance to pick my brain before I need to leave.
Bob, are we doing the other meeting later?
For the subcommittee exec is on the 6th.
No, I'm talking about gigahertz. I thought that 5 o'clock. Yay or nay?
I didn't have it scheduled. That's probably my fault.
Okie dokie.
Bob, I do ask the Chinese company where I bought 10 pieces of the Corona receiver. They don't make any more 75 megahertz. Sorry for this, sir. I'm so sorry. Only 40 megahertz and 8 channels, 6 channels, I don't know.
Understood.
I think the parts, the small electronic parts run out, I think, from the producers. That's why the reason, maybe.
Yeah.
So you have to go to 2.4. It's possible, it's no problem. With the tip out of the water, there's no problem.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't care about the people who are complaining. It's working.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
My last 6 or 8 builds have all been 2.4 gigahertz. They are a ton of fun to drive. But I will say, if you guys did look at that last blog post, I picked up just a few 72 megahertz radios, which are absolutely perfectly fine from a technological perspective to run RC submarines with. Technically, they're illegal. Our conversations with the US or North American FCC, they basically said, don't worry about it, just don't be stupid and run your boat next to an RC airfield, which I don't know how many of those exist. But I've got ever so slightly a few radios in 72 megahertz. So we've got a Band-Aid solution until the new 75 megahertz supplier comes online late summer, early fall. So
if you go to rcgroups.com. And they've got an area. Let's see what the aircraft general radios. I just bought a Futaba 9-cap 72 for $60 on there, brand new in a box. They're for sale, for auction on there all the time. All sorts of Futaba 7s and 9s. So if you're looking for a radio.
Gotcha.
Where's your book stand?
Like, who are you talking to? You talking to me?
Yeah, when's it going to be out?
Oh, the book. So this is where we're at. So the entire book is finished. I'm going through right now, doing final formatting and putting in some more pictures to fill some blank pages for spacing. And then I've had to employ my father, who is vehemently against signing into the account necessary to edit it live. So I have to turn it into a PDF and email him the PDF. Once that final proofread is done, go straight to the publisher. Publisher is saying it's like I believe 10 to 12 week turnaround for hard copies. So end of the summer.
Subfest.
It is good. Oh, it'll be long before Subfest.
Doing a personal signing of his book at Subfest.
Yeah. Yep.
Steve, based on that stuff I'm looking at behind you, I don't think you need a beginner's book.
Oh, come on.
Yes, he does. Everybody needs one. They make great paperweights.
I'm just excited to see it.
I got some of your boats in there.
I think
Yeah, I would agree.
Always.
Most likely be some good information in there. I'm sure you're gonna get.
Well, just everybody bear in mind, it's geared towards the beginner. So there's going to be a lot of stuff you're like, well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but every day's a school day. You never know.
All right, I've got to go. My wife is waiting for me. So, hey, who's going to be sticking around that I can turn the controls over to?
I got to run myself.
Yeah, I gotta leave.
I can stick around.
You're sticking around, Matt?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to turn it over then. Obviously, this recording will be posted up for future examination on the DiveTribe site. So thanks, everyone. I'm going to let you go. Have an awesome rest of your day, and talk to you again soon.
See you, Bob. Bye, Bob.
Hey, Bob. Listen,
See you,
I'll
Bob.
be sending you an email, Bob. I'm interested in those 2 motors you said you had.
Yeah, sounds good.
Matthew.
Matthew.
Where are you?
Where are you, Matthew?
Oh, right. Where are you, Maury? You're not on my screen. Oh, you're there. Your screen's off.
Okay, all right.
Matthew.
Haven't talked to you for a while, buddy.
I sent you an email.
Okay.
Me?
No, sorry, Maury. I sent you an email. You didn't answer.
You sent me an email?
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I need to talk to you, but off here, if that's all right.
Okay. Why don't I Facebook you tomorrow?
I will be at sea. So tomorrow I'm at sea. I will be back on Monday, but late, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday's Lauren's 30th birthday. So if I do any business on Tuesday, I'm gonna get shot.
How about Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah, we could do Wednesday afternoon.
Okay, how about Messenger on Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay,
Because
buddy.
I've got some bits for you.
Great. Thanks, buddy.
No worries. Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
See you later, Maury.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye. Right, Gunter, your turn. Oh, he's run off now. Gunter, I got a message back from that bloke and the decks are all squared away. Oh, brilliant. Is that the Curie? What was that one? I can't see that, man. You're muted. Oh, hang on. I can unmute. I'm now host, aren't I? How do I do this? Right, bear with me, everybody. I'm just going to unmute. Somehow. Ask to unmute. There we go.
I
There we
cleared
go.
out the plan for the sections. There was 90 sections, too much. So I reduced it to 18 or 19 pieces.
What boat was that?
This is a Russian Second World War Type M.
Oh, what you sent me the other day?
No, it was the other one.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, I was meant to call you the other day. I got an email back from, I've forgotten his name.
Modellbau Wikinger.
That's it. He's going to do the decks.
Super.
Yeah, he's doing the deck. So we've got the deck squared away now. I've sent him the plans over.
The whole package, what I sent you.
Yeah.
You need it for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
These are good news.
Yeah. So that'll be, well, once the molds get over here and we can get that squared away, that will be the next, that will get released, what? End of this year, maybe?
Will go out end of the month.
Brilliant.
Either with UPS or with DJL, or I don't know. I have to see. Okay.
Okay, whichever's the best for you. I mean, obviously, I use UPS all the time. Even
but I have to check it with DJL because they have this oversize.
Yeah.
Add-on for the packaging.
I mean, I used to ship
something like 90 euros or something like this to the UK.
Yeah. I mean, I've been shipping my submarines out in tubes, and basically, because of the incident that happened with Ed's, I've decided to make a wooden box, and it's turned out to be cheaper.
Okay.
It costs a tube is costing me £37, and making a wooden box has cost me 15 quid. And is a couple of hours whacking some nails in with a nail gun. So I'm like, yes, sweet winner. But so I'm having that done.
Okay. I will check it out. I will give you through message. I give you how it called a message.
Yeah. No worries.
But what he wrote, can you forward me the email he wrote you from Modell?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that now. I can't because my phone's over there.
Did it in English or in German?
It was in English.
Okay.
Actually, it might have been in German that my phone converted to English. I can't remember.
Okay. I will check the email if you want.
Okay, no dramas.
Yeah.
But I said that you were the one who put me towards him, so he was more than happy to help out.
Okay. Yeah. I have to see. I have to assemble my CNC mill as soon as possible. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Let me see. One more.
So how's everybody else? I know I came into the game a bit late today because it's was 8 o'clock in the evening, so dinner time. How is everybody? All good?
Good to go.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Dave, you look miserable. What's up, mate?
Oh, nothing. I'm just tired. I was a couple of my buddies. Well, we all got vaccinated and everything, so they came over and we got drunk as hell last night. So I'm a little off right now.
Good effort. Well, I did my first ever COVID test tonight because obviously I'm going to sea tomorrow, so I had to do a COVID test. That is the most horriblest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I do not want to stick things up my nose and around my mouth. That's horrible. And I've got to do another one tomorrow morning when I join the ship. I'm like,
what? Why do you have to have two?
Because it's rules. Rules.
Dumbass.
Yeah, our government can turn around and charge twice.
Yeah, basically.
But have you been vaccinated already?
No, I won't get vaccinated till September.
Oh.
Joys of being 32. But it's
a young one.
yeah. 32, and yeah, I'm not gonna get vaccinated till September. But hey.
Hey Matt, I was bored and I came across on where was it? I guess on a German site. I found a Thunder Tiger Neptune for really cheap, and I said, "What the hell?" I bought it off the guy, and for it was like I paid like $500. But the odd thing was, he shipped it to me. He said that includes shipping. Okay.
Wow.
But here's the weird thing. Even Steve was like, "What the hell is going on?" The guy shipped it, and I'm thinking, okay, it'll get here in 30 days. 3 days later, it was at my house.
I must admit, when I've been shipping to Bob, it is literally 3 days. And I say it's going to take 7 days, but it's literally there. So I leave it on the say it goes today. It'll be with him by Wednesday or Tuesday. It's amazing actually how quick it's going out. At the moment, as Bob was saying, resin prices, tube prices, everything's jacked up at the moment and can't get hold of it. It's only just started now that it's starting to come through. I ordered resin in February and I got my keg on Monday. It's just like, okay, I needed that for a while. I've been running on scraping out the barrel. And I think some of the submarines might be a little bit lighter than normal. But, Dave, I've got something to show you. So, Lauren.
It's something else I'm going to buy, right?
No. You gave it to me, remember? So, Lauren.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Lauren painted it for me.
Oh, okay.
It's come out really nice.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the 2-barrel version of that.
Oh, yeah. Because
but this was the 3.7 millimeter.
Yeah, that's correct.
Dave, is the 40 megahertz crystals or remotes allowed in the USA?
Technically, no, you're not allowed. I have sold new. I have been selling for the last 8 months brand new 75 megahertz and brand new 40 megahertz radios, but they're just about all gone now. I mean, because I've sold probably of all combined probably 50 sets of either 8 or 9 channel brand new radios. But I mean, even the prices that I put out there, because they're not in the US anymore. I get them from Germany and from Japan, the parts for them, not the parts, but the actual the modules and the receivers. But I mean, I was putting them out for like $650 because it was costing me so much money to import them into the US to ship them and stuff. And people were buying them. They just bought them. They don't care. They don't care. I mean, I said, I even showed them the receipt of what I paid for it, so they know I'm not cheating them. But you know, it all started out. A few people on the subcommittee wanted some brand new 75 megahertz 9-channel radios, and I said, sure, I'll put them together for you. And I did that, and then other people started asking, and other people, and then I ended up selling them for. I mean, I didn't sell many of them. At the most, maybe 40 brand new radios. That's about it.
See, I'm hoping to get my first prototype one in June, and fingers crossed that we get the first batch here or in the UK for July and August. So Bob will be at the same time. So we're getting the 40 ones made for the UK and Europe, and we're getting the 75s to you guys. As I said, it's basically starting from scratch, and that's why it's taken so long. We've I think with this, the first batch that come out get 6 different crystals. The next batch get another 6 different crystals, so we can build up the different ranges of frequencies. But we've had to redo everything, and we thought we could get away with using the old crystals, but it turns out their band webs are all stretched, so we've had to redo everything. But the new design looks awesome. I'm well chuffed with it.
Well, how much channels and with computer inside or?
Right. So it's basic as hell. It's mainly switches. I'm not sure if we've gone down the route of putting a screen on the front to tell you what it's doing. We know the channels are digital. It's 8 channels, and it's got sliders on the side to do your dive planes and your pump, which that's what I demanded for. I wanted those sliders. And the housing itself, instead of an old-fashioned square box like the old ones were, we've gone for like a drone looking one where it's curved around the outside. So it looks very similar to that. So as I said, at the moment, it's definitely digital, but I can't guarantee it's got a digital screen on it. But I did ask for a digital screen, so we'll just see what happens. The receivers will be in with it. So when you buy them, you get a receiver, and you can buy spare receivers for £25. I don't know what that is, dollars. I have to work that one out.
Yes, nice remote.
That's nice.
But why is the transmitter module not in synthesized?
I'm not sure, mate. That's above my pay grade.
Because with my remote, I can choose my channel on my remote, what I need.
Yeah.
If one is occupied, I switch over to the next one, finish, that's it.
Yeah.
I have also synthesizers receiver, so that's the best way actually.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not sure.
In the past, I have to handle with the crystals. 59, 60. Oh, where's my crystals? It was always a pain in the ass for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've got boxes and boxes of crystals. But as I said, at the moment, a whole point of it was to keep the cost down and to keep it simple. And as I said, it's $149.99. So we shall see. What is actually with it. I mean, until I get the prototype here, I can't turn around and say for definite what's actually on it and what's not. Because
you know that only Robbie have the F14 still.
No,
that's it. Not
you can't get them.
But Engel Modellbau is selling them. Huh?
Yeah, because he bought all the old stock.
Aha.
Yeah. And now Engel's back in operational again, which is good. But yeah,
here in Germany, I can buy the 40 megahertz used ones for $30, $50, something like this. Good ones.
Yeah.
So, no problem.
Right.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I just picked up an F16. A Robbie F16. I'll pick one up on the weekend, and that's got one of those lovely modules in the back of it.
How much you want for that, Dave?
And you want to look for this too. This is only 5-channel, but this is a 75 megahertz 5-channel synthetic, and then generally I pair it up with this 75 megahertz synthetic module that you plug in the radio, and then you can switch them to any channel you want. Don't have to use any crystals. But you can do that with 72. Here's a 72, and this is the 10-channel 72. So you just gotta look around and find them, and you'll find them.
Well,
and
on RC place I just said, rcgroups.com has a forum for aircraft. And like I said, I just bought a 9-channel Futaba 72 for $60, brand new in the box. Then I could send it off to the guy in Tony South, I think, and he'll convert it if I want to for about $150 to 75. I've got the crystals.
Well, you can use that's a module system transmitter. That's why I love these modules, because they'll work in Futaba, they'll work in high tech, they'll work in Wi-Fi radios, and no problem. I even had a few. This was about 6 months ago. I managed to get a set of 27 megahertz modules and receivers, but somebody bought all of those right away. I said, who bought that anyway? I think it was Matt Thor that maybe bought them all. Yeah. But because some people want to have a different frequency when they go to a show so that they don't get tangled with somebody else. And if you use 27 megahertz, for sure, no one's going to have it's going to be on that frequency.
Did someone say something bad? Because everyone's gone quiet. I was disappeared for 30 seconds. What's going on? Right, I'm gonna have to scoot, guys, because I've got to go and get some petrol to go to tomorrow because I've got to go to London. Does anyone want to take host over for me while I'm let you guys go, or?
I gotta go too. Gotta go do some piddling.
Yeah. Tim, do you want to take host or you off? Rightio.
Thank you. We talk tomorrow, okay?
Yeah. Don't forget, I'm not around. I'm going to be out at sea. So if you can't get hold of me, it's because I'm out in the big deep blue.
No problem.
Better you than me.
Nah, mate, it's my life. I spend my life at sea. It's fine.
Yeah. I did 6 years and I don't want to go back.
I joined the Navy when I was 18 years old, and I'm still serving today.
I did 17 and I couldn't take more than 6 years on a submarine.
Oh, mate, I'm not submarine. I'm not a submarine, no. I'm surface fleet. I'm a jet boat coxswain.
Oh,
yeah. So it's good laugh. I get to drive fast quite a lot. But no, I'm actually doing a civvy job tomorrow. I'm bringing a Dutch barge back from London down to Faversham, so I'm doing a coxswain's job. So nothing to do with the RN, but hey, it's all good fun.
see y'all later. See you in 2 weeks.
See you later, guys.
Yeah, see you in 2 weeks then.
See you
Nice
guys.
talking, everyone.
Shutting this down. Bye.